A severe outbreak of the flu strikes surprisingly early and very hard. New reports coming out of states across the country are only getting worse. In just a minute, I'll speak with a doctor feeling the effects of this outbreak. But first, in Boston, a public health emergency has been declared. The mayor, Thomas Menino's warning. He's warning of tough days ahead. They could be difficult.
We are less than halfway through the flu season. But Boston has already seen about 700 confirmed cases of the flu since October 1st. That's 10 times the amount of total cases we saw all of last year.
In Michigan, at least 4 pediatric flu-related deaths are reported, the youngest of them just 6 months old. The health department says there have been almost 300 cases since the start of the season, a number they don't typically see until the end of February. And in Minnesota, this.
So far to date, we've had over 900 hospitalized cases here in the state of Minnesota.
Among the victims there, this 14-year-old girl who died from complications from the illness despite getting her flu shot. Joining us now on the phone from Minnesota is Dr. Joan Krykova. She's the medical director at the New Ulm Medical Center. Doctor, thanks very much for joining us. So how bad is it where you are? A lot of folks think Minnesota is the epicenter of this problem.
We have a very high prevalence of flu in our region of Minnesota right now.
When you say high, give us an example of how serious it is.
Our community of New Ulm is small. We're 13,000 people, and in the month of December, we had 50 positive flu patients within our clinic in a very short time. And in fact, this week, about half of our inpatients in our hospital are flu-related illnesses.
So what measures, new measures, have you taken now to deal with this? I think it's fair to call it a crisis.
We have one nursing home in our community that has a established outbreak of influenza, and all of the residents in that nursing home are now on antiviral prevention medication to avoid additional illnesses. Our hospital has some visitor restrictions in place as well. We know we are restricting the numbers of visitors, and we're restricting visitors to immediate family only.
Do you have enough medicine? Is there any shortage of medicine that you might need?
At this time, no, we don't. We are still giving and strongly encouraging people to get their immunizations, and we still do have adequate immunizations, and we do have adequate antiviral medications as well.
The antiviral medications, meaning if someone comes down with the flu and gets sick, this is the medication they need?
There are actually 2 ways to use antiviral medications. For ill people, that does shorten the length of time a person is ill. Also, in high-risk individuals, using antiviral medications to prevent illness is also recommended.
What are you telling the people in your community to do?
The most important thing is get your flu shot. That is the best protection. Good hand washing is very important. If a person is ill, they should stay home from work and school. And, of course, avoid being around individuals who are sick.
And just to reiterate what Dr. Anthony Fauci and our own Dr. Sanjay Gupta have been telling us, those who are most at risk are the elderly, pregnant women, and young children. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct. Also, individuals with chronic illness, like diabetes or heart disease.
So everybody should be really careful. This is a serious problem. Dr. Joan Krykova, thanks very much for helping us.
You're very welcome.
Lisa Sylvester has been looking at the different ways the flu can spread. And Lisa, it's surprising how these germs can easily spread. This is information you're getting that I want you to share with our viewers.
Yeah, this goes without saying, but if you suspect someone has the flu, well, keep your distance. The flu is passed from droplets, usually when an infected person coughs or sneezes in your vicinity, but it can also be passed by touching a surface with the flu virus on it. We touch so many things without even realizing it. Take a simple trip on the subway, buying a Metro card, going down the escalator. That's only the beginning. The flu virus can spread easily in an enclosed place like a subway station.
Flu is a virus that usually spreads through contact. So anytime we cough or sneeze, if we're infected with the virus, we can be contagious to anyone who's not affected.
The flu virus can spread to others up to 6 feet away, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And flu germs can remain suspended in the air. The top 3 ways to catch the flu: being near someone who is sick, who sneezes, coughs, or talks, spreading infected droplets; drinking from the same cup or sharing a utensil, and touching a germy surface and then touching your eyes or mouth. And you can pass the virus to someone before you even know you're sick.
Somebody can be contagious with influenza up to a day prior to developing symptoms. Symptoms typically present as sneezing and coughing and so on, and up to 7 days post developing those symptoms. So the flu virus can be fairly contagious over a long period of time.
To see how easy it is to spread germs, we tried out this experiment with something called GlowGerm. Just look at what this black light picked up. If this were the flu virus or cold germs, I would be leaving a trail behind for someone else to catch. Using cleaning products to keep surfaces germ-free can minimize the chances of spreading the flu, and it's important to wash hands thoroughly. Jessica Benton is with Calico Industries, a company that distributes GlowGerm as a way to teach proper hygiene.
Some people sing the ABCs, happy birthday 2 times, but at least 20 seconds of vigorous washing. I do know when people do wash their hands, they may not go in between their fingers, get underneath their fingers, so there's lots of germs that you can't, obviously you can't see germs, but do get stuck behind when you don't wash your hands properly.
And you might wonder, so how long can germs live on surfaces? Well, Dr. Asil Saleh says typically it's 2 to 8 hours, but there have been reports of even up to 48 hours. Soap and water is the best way for washing hands, but if you don't have access to them, then hand sanitizer can also be effective. And again, we keep hearing this again and again, but if you have not done so already, doctors are recommending that you get a flu shot. And of course, Wolf, the common advice is if you have the flu, well, stay home. Don't go to work. Don't infect your coworkers and colleagues and so forth.
I mean, that's just the better, just stay at home. And you make a good point when you say wash your hands. Washing your hands, people just do it in 3 seconds, wash your hands, and they think their hands are clean.
Yeah.
You got to really wash your hands.
They say wash vigorously, and you want that water to be warm. You want that water to be really warm, as well as, they'll say 20 seconds. So sing the happy birthday song, for instance, a couple of times. Those are good ways to remember. But here's a key thing, and people may not realize this. You actually have to wash in between your fingers. When we did that test with the GlowGerm, you could actually see it, that it gets stuck in your rings, between your fingers, and so forth. You go up to somebody else, you shake their hands. It's a very common, very polite thing to do. And that's how easy it is to spread these germs. And that's another thing they'll say, Wolf, too, is just you can say to somebody, you know what, I don't want to pass the flu germ or the flu virus. I'm not shaking hands. You can politely decline to shake hands. In this day and era, it's perfectly okay to decline. Yeah. People will understand why.
And make sure you use a lot of soap, too. Don't just use some water.
Yeah, that's right.
Wash it. Good advice. Thank you.